So let me ask a question. So what can you tell the public? Is their money safe even when they save on these particular apps? As you've said, there's a backend behind it. Can you assure them that?
Yes, their money is safe.
Okay.
Because the banks that back them up are safe and resilient. And it is our motto as KDIC to enhance, or our mandate to enhance public confidence in Kenya's banking system. And we do that by telling people that their funds are backed up by KDIC.
Okay.
We have a fund that is supposed to support the banking system in the unlikely event of a problem.
Yeah.
And therefore their money is safe.
Absolutely. I'm still going to dig that deeper because one of the biggest things that we see is how hard it is for Kenyans to earn their money. And when they deposit their money and something happens, it's a big crisis. And I'm saying that because I think we know the effort that comes with trying to put up this cash, these monies. The other time I was having a conversation with the president of the APTAC in terms of pensions and how they have to really protect this money for the people. Now, coming back to this, and with the assurance that you've given us, what would be a red flag that you can tell any depositor if someone is asking you to deposit money here or there or there? What is one thing that you can tell anyone who wants to deposit somewhere that you must be certain of these things before you deposit your money to this app or to that app? Is there something you can tell them to watch out for?
I'm not so much conversant with the apps.
Yeah.
What I would be more keen on is their connection to a bank.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think that's it. And I think that's it. I think what you're saying is, if there's any app asking you, find out whether they're connected to any bank.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And whether that bank or microfinance is protected by KDIC.
Yeah.
Because much of what goes on in the e-wallet has to be backed up.
Absolutely.
With a bank.
Yeah.
And I can say that our banks are resilient. So once you know that they are connected to a bank, then they're safe. They are safer.
Absolutely.
And then we also have to look at the risk appetite of those apps.
Yeah.
Some of them are providing very high interest rates that are questionable. You know, high risk.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, so those are some of the red flags that I would look at.
Yeah. Absolutely. So two things there. If the deal is too good, think twice as usual. And then number two, make sure it is backed by a bank. Yes. That's the only way to be sure of this. Let's move on to this. And I want to put in this question. So you're currently paying out protected deposits and even accepting late claims.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, can you tell us more about it and who should come forward?
Yes, we are currently paying out late payments for Imperial Bank and Chase Bank.
You're right.
By law, we are supposed to, once we announce for 2 years, that we pay for a period of 2 years. But knowing Kenyans and the circumstances sometimes that could hold someone from coming to lodge their claims, we are still accepting and paying out for those institutions. In addition, we are also making payments, what we call dividends. That is an additional top-up on above the protected deposits for a bank called Kenya Finance Bank in liquidation. So I'll call upon Kenyans who had accounts with that bank to lodge their claims.
Wow. Yes. Now that you've mentioned the names, you've mentioned Imperial Bank, you've mentioned Chase Bank, and we have so many people probably who could be watching, and some of them probably, almost moved on. So you're telling them that, hey, please come forward, come pick your money.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a good
The protected amounts that up to the 500,000. Those who have not lodged their claims, they are welcome to come and claim.
Absolutely.
And we make those payments.
I'm curious and really appreciating the effort, and you've promised that there are conversations you're listening to Kenyans to at least ensure even more and the likes. So if there was someone who had at least 1 million shillings, if they come and claim, they will only get their 500,000 shillings that was covered, right?
They will get their 500,000 immediately.
Yeah.
And through our recovery process, whenever we recover some amounts, we will also announce and pay the over and above.
Wow.
So, and in some banks, in some of the institutions in liquidation, we are at over 90%, 100% for some. People have gotten all their money. But there are some that we are still
in the process.
We are at 50% or so, or less. Yeah.
You know what, Madam Hellen? I think this is very good news for people. In my opinion, from where I sit, The fact that you're still in process and you're trying as well to recover as much as you can for these people, that's actually very good news. Because there are people who really were devastated by the downfall of those two particular banks. And thank you so much for highlighting that. As we come to a close of this conversation, I want to highlight your new innovations and what you're doing in terms of changes at KDIC, and what are you working on right now to serve depositors better?
Well, I think I had mentioned some of them, especially on the electronic data warehouse. We are trying to utilize AI in order to have predictive arrangements to be able to determine, to predict the likelihood of failure of our bank, so that we can employ all our to ensure that that bank does not fail. So that is one of the areas we want to employ AI to be able to predict the likelihood of failure and to minimize loss and the disruptions to the market. Yes. The other one is innovations that will ensure that we make prompt payment to the depositors. Yes, and some of that might include amendments to our laws to ensure that we have a single customer view that will enable us to be able to tell exactly how much you are holding in that bank and the whole of that bank, so that it makes it easier for aggregation and payments, payout. So those are some of the areas we are looking at.
I love that.
The area of the trust accounts, we are also pushing through the amendments on our laws to ensure that banks are able to give us returns on the accounts that they are holding that are trust accounts, so that we are able to know our total exposures to these deposits and are therefore able to cover them.
Lovely. And these are very good milestones. From where you see it, in fact, from what you've mentioned, AI, there's a lot of data then that you're able to see a lot of things. In order to ask you, there's always a conversation of how Kenyans are not saving. Have they improved? Are you seeing some element of savings?
Yes. Incidentally, the levels of savings are increasing.
Okay.
Yes, and this is good because even from the FinAccess reports that we've seen financial inclusion increasing in our country. And that is also seen from the level of deposits that we are seeing being held in the banking system. Which is increasing.
Okay.
Yes.
Finally, I want to give you a chance to address Kenyans about really your message on saving and how their money is safe in the banking system. But even as you give your final word, I wanted to ask you, because you have the regulator there, CBK, and you must be having a lot of meetings sometimes with them just to talk about the health of the banking system. Do you?
Yes, we do. We we recently signed an MOU with them on information sharing. And we do have, of course, because we are kind of joined at the hip in this mandate of ensuring financial stability in the country and the health of these financial institutions. So we kind of give the 360 view from their supervisory perspective, and from our side as a deposit insurer, there could be some areas that we support each other, and therefore close collaborations is a must, and we are having with them, and it's going on, and that is what is good for the health of the financial system in the country. So I wanted to say that we as KDIC, we are here to support the financial system. All those banks that who are members of KDIC, if you go to the bank and you see that this is a member of KDIC, you are safe to deposit your money there. And your money is safe when in a bank. Yes.
I love that. I love that. Where are you saving? That's the big question. The mattress is in a bank. But if you want to insure your money, make sure that you're saving in a bank. At least you're assured. As of now, your 500,000 shillings and below is already insured. And there are good conversations as well going on that this could even go up. And we wish it can happen even faster. Thank you so much for your time and for listening to us. That has been KDIC with Mrs. Hellen Chepkwony, the CEO, right here at KDIC. And I hope you've taken your takeout. Living out in the markets.